So are you dealing with sciatica pain and it's just not getting better? You're looking for new ways to resolve it. You're getting this pain that's literally a pain in the butt, sometimes down the back of the leg or even all the way down to the foot. And this pain is such a pain in the butt that it's not going away, and it's very annoying and stops you in your tracks from doing a lot of things that you want to do. Well, if you're looking for a new resolution, a new way to get over this pain, I would highly recommend Pilates-based exercise, and we're going to talk today in this video how Pilates can help reduce sciatica pain and why. So I'm going to show you on a spine model here what actually is sciatica. Where does the pain come from? And my name is Dr. Dawn Andalone. I'm a physical therapist that specializes in back pain and sciatica. And for a lot of the clients that we treat, we also will look at the back and the hip together. Now, sciatica pain is kind of this umbrella term, this general term for having pain that starts in the buttock area or sometimes in the back, but in the buttock area and down the back of the leg, and therefore your sciatic nerve is affected. Well, that sciatic nerve, if you look at the back part of your spine here, it's actually formed from a few different levels of these nerve roots that come out at each level of your spine. And those nerve roots, they come together, they form a big nerve that is in the buttock area deep underneath those hip muscles. And that's why it can feel like that pain is coming from here. Well, the way that we screen people, and it's important to know that you should see a physical therapist if you are dealing with any kind of sciatica pain so you can get the right guidance for yourself. But we look at spine range of motion, we look at strength throughout this whole area, we look at what is your history like, what activities have you been doing, what are you shooting for, what are your goals, what kinds of things do you want to do that you can't do now. And then we look at your hips as well. How much mobility do you have in your hips with external rotation, internal rotation? Can you bend over? Can you lean backward? Can you move in all different directions? So looking at your spine, looking at your hips, and when your symptoms are provoked can tell us a lot about where your sciatica pain is coming from. Now, I do have other videos about sciatica on this channel. You can go back and watch those. But if you may be dealing with a herniated disc in your back, that can cause some sciatic nerve pressure. Or if you have stenosis and you have that narrowing and arthritic changes in your spine, you're a little bit older, those arthritic changes can put compression on your spine, decreasing the blood flow, circulation that goes to the nerve roots, and therefore the pain can feel like sharp stabbing. It can be really annoying, and it can get worse when you're sitting for prolonged periods of time or standing. Now, sciatic pain, if you think about the nerve, we don't want to stretch nerves. Nerves are going to get irritated with stretching. So Pilates-based exercise, if done by a professional that really understands what the sciatica pain is coming from and how to take pressure off that nerve, would be the number one thing. So some of the exercises, if you just Google and you're looking up sciatica-based exercises, sometimes for individuals, it can provoke things and make it worse. But as a general term, the sciatic nerve, you don't want to stretch it. So therefore, if you're on your back and you're lifting your legs up and you're putting a lot of strain on that nerve and stretching, well, your pain is probably going to get worse. So we want to do things that are going to increase the blood flow and circulation to the nerve, and therefore are not going to aggravate it, but instead help your symptoms overall. Now, why does Pilates exercise, if done by a professional that understands this, why does it improve sciatica? Well, Pilates improves that elongation of your spine, your posture muscles, takes load and pressure off your spine. So the goal is to really connect your brain with your muscles around your midsection and around your hips. So therefore, with the carryover you have in your daily life, with daily activities, you can hold your posture a little bit stronger, a little bit taller, and therefore you're not going to have as much compression on those joints in your lower back. I'm going to show you a couple exercises that we'll discuss this theory and this principle of Pilates and how the elongation or that creating that length in your spine is going to take pressure off of it with these types of exercises. Okay, I'm here on my mat, and mat-based Pilates, as you can see, I have also reformers in the back, which is studio-based or done on equipment. Now, mat Pilates, we are going to work on some of those same principles with really being mindful of what your core muscles and what your midsection around here, those muscles that really support your spine and act like a corset around your spine. So if you get in a position where you're on all fours and you just start to connect to these abdominal muscles here by doing some deep breathing. So I'm going to think of breathing into my belly, and as you can see, my back stays real flat. So I'm not going up into an arch and I'm not dropping down. But with sciatica pain, this should feel okay where you're not having to put extra pressure through your back or your buttock area, but we're just changing the position of your spine. So we unload your joints here and we're just doing some breathing. And I'm going to inhale through my nose, exhale through my mouth. As I inhale, I'm feeling my belly just kind of inflate down, and then as I exhale, I'm going to think of drawing my navel in toward my spine. So you can go back and forth like that about 10 times. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, drawing those muscles in and connecting your navel toward your spine. So that would be the first step. Now I'm going to keep my back flat like a tabletop, and we call this a bird dog exercise. But I am going to stay nice and balanced here. I'm going to exhale and extend my opposite arm and leg. So I keep that nice stability in my lower back. And then I inhale it back in, and then exhale the opposite side. So with sciatica pain, normally if you are just working in a neutral position in your back and you keep that back in a nice stable position, you're connecting your brain with those muscles and being able to control that with your posture. Now things like prolonged sitting, prolonged standing, like I mentioned, those are going to be a little more uncomfortable and provoking your sciatic nerve because you're putting more compression on your spine. So Pilates-based exercises that are done in a neutral spine position, you're not flexing too much and you're not extending too much, is a great place to start for sciatica pain. Now doing this with a professional, they're going to know what that truly means in neutral position, but some Pilates-based exercises will do roll downs or create a lot of movement in your spine. If you're truly dealing with back pain or sciatica, we're going to start in a very neutral position and some of the basics too. So progressing along as your sciatica pain gets better, if you're seeing a professional, you can start doing more flexion, extension, and movement, but you really want to have control within that base of support. And so working on the elongation of your spine and connecting to your muscles here, that's how Pilates-based exercise can really help sciatica, because over time, you don't want to create more tension on that nerve. We want to take the tension off, and unloading your spine in different positions, connecting with breathing, connecting with posture, coordination, balance. Those are all key parts of Pilates-based exercise and how they can truly help sciatica. So it's an important thing to repeat. If you're putting a lot of tension on your sciatic nerve, that is usually going to irritate the symptoms. And it can look like this. Tension on the nerve would be if you're really straightening that leg, and because that nerve goes from your lower back into the buttock area and down the leg, then here I'm stretching the nerve. We don't want to do that. Your nerve, instead, we want it to be like dental floss, moving back and forth, because nerves do not like to be stretched. So you can go lightly and gently in this position as long as that's not irritating it, but it's creating a little movement there to loosen up the muscle around the nerve. But you don't want to do anything where you're really stretching, overstretching, or over curling, or over flexing. So just thought I'd remind you of that, as some people with sciatica will go online and look up exercises, but many times make things worse. But if you're working with a professional that understands this, then Pilates-based exercise and a beginner doing a more neutral position of your spine is going to be very helpful to give you long-term results and also have that carry over into your daily life with standing and sitting and some of those static postures too. So hope you learned something from this. If you have more questions about Pilates or want to watch more videos on this or about sciatica, I would invite you to hit that subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, and you can learn more about other women's health topics and other topics about back pain and sciatica. Now, if you have any comments, questions, please leave them below. I love to answer this, and I hope you learned something. So thanks so much for watching.